Hello and welcome to Fedmail. Thank you for joining us once again this week. I hope you're doing well and that your family members and friends are all in good health and good spirits too. And as we say every week in Fedmail, if you or someone you know is in need of assistance in any way, please let us know. We're here to support you and to help. I also want to acknowledge, of course, that this week marks the 1-week anniversary of the tragic events that took place in Israel during Lag BaOmer celebrations. 45 people lost their lives, and it was just a terrible tragedy, particularly in the middle of the observance of a holiday like Lag BaOmer, when there should be joy and connection to the meaning of the holiday. So our hearts, our prayers go out to those who lost their lives during that event, and we hope for the speedy recovery of those who were injured. There were many injuries as well. I also want to thank the community members who came out to the Lag BaOmer celebrations in the community. We were able to visit with our friends at BI for a barbecue. It was a drive-through barbecue. There was rain that night, unfortunately, and then the following day, last Friday, we had a celebration at Worcester City Hall. Several elected officials were there for that, including Mayor Petty, a small barbecue, and some nice celebrations. That was co-hosted by the Torah Center and Jewish Federation. Hot dogs, hamburgers were served, and it was a nice way to celebrate the Lag BaOmer holiday. So, yes, of course, we continue to count the Omer with the holiday of Shavuot coming up shortly, just a few days away. I also want to acknowledge, of course, that we have been paying close attention, and I'm sure you have too, to the events that have taken place in Israel over the past several weeks, continuing escalating tension and violence. Recently, or this week, there have been a lot of conflicts in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood, which is just north of the Old City. There are expected evictions taking place of Arab families living there. Massive protests have been coordinated with a lot of violence, a lot of crowd hostility. Hamas has launched rockets into Israel. Israel's Arab neighbors, including Jordan, have seen a number of protests, and everything in the region is just becoming a lot hotter, a lot more volatile. So we are certainly praying for peace in Israel among all parties. We really don't want to, we of course don't want to see any violence or any continued hostility, particularly at this time. Some of this also has to do with the fact that the Palestinian Authority just announced that they would forego elections. The PA administration is on the 16th year of a 4-year term in office. They haven't held elections. There's fear that if there were elections, Hamas would gain power, and polls show that that is likely. But in any event, the Palestinian elections were postponed. Also, of course, we saw this week that Benjamin Netanyahu was unable to form a coalition government. So now that adds another factor into Israel's governing administration and how things will play out there. So there's a lot to look at, a lot to pay attention to. Keep your eyes out for that, and we'll report on it again next week. I also want to let you know that next week we will be on site at Polar Park, Worcester Red Sox new baseball stadium in downtown Worcester, and I'm excited to be reporting from there. This is a quiet week in the community. Want to let you know that Fill the Fridge continues. That's the joint project with JCC Cares, Jewish Federation, and Clark Hillel. If you'd like to support that, please let us know. You can follow the link in Fedmail. I also want to remind you that the Neumann exhibit, that is the art exhibit at the Worcester Art Museum, co-sponsored by Jewish Federation. That's up right now, so you could go visit it if you'd like to, and we encourage folks to. We will be having a month when all of our community members will be able to visit for free coming up shortly. We want to make sure that everyone is able to do that with the COVID guidelines in place. But check that out. What the Nazis Stole from Richard Neumann and the Quest to Get It Back. That's an important one, and you'll enjoy it. Mark your calendars for May 25th, a Life and Legacy Appreciation event. That's a nationwide gathering of all of the folks who are part of the Life and Legacy program, brought to you by the Harold Grinspoon Foundation. We're excited about that. Our friends at B'nai B'rith still have Queen Esther scholarships available. Take advantage of it. Make sure you check that out. What else do we have going on? There is a Temple Emmanuel Sinai Mother's Day event. Don't miss that. That is chocolate. The Jewish connection to chocolate sounds delicious and delightful, taking place on May 9th. Sheer Joy is taking part in a community-wide concert on May 16th with a number of other events. And we will have more listed for you next week as things are getting closer to their time to happen. I didn't say that very articulately, but you understand. We'll let you know when things are going to happen. Anyway, I want to say thank you once again for all of your support. We are hopeful that you're doing well and look forward to seeing you in person. Take care and Shabbat Shalom. Bye-bye.